I'm going to take another video here and show y'all how we hook up, say for example, a Keymaster to the internet. Um, my last video kind of showed you the basics. I'll get a little more in depth here. Um, Basically what I'm doing is I'm hooking up to all these controls, and all these controls really do is when you go one way, it's just taking it to ground. And that's all these relays are doing. And the Raspberry Pi is basically telling these relays to open or close. You know, if they're normally open, which is what they're normally set on, and they go to ground, it tells it to activate. That's just how these machines work. One of the things that we do add here is a prize sensor, which needs to look at black so it can see things falling through it. There's actually, if you look close, I don't know if you'll be able to see it in there, there's a black receiving and a white producing LED. Um, and those just make it so when something falls, it can detect it. This prize sensor actually runs on 12 volts, and when it receives something, it's normally sitting at ground, and then it goes high or to 5 volts, which is the opposite of everything else in here. So when this goes high, it like I said, it gives you a 5-volt signal instead of going to ground, telling the Raspberry Pi that you won a prize and to ship it to you. Okay, so this might be confusing at first, but what I'm doing here is I'm taking 5 volts from the Raspberry Pi to power my relay board, getting my ground from here, and attaching my ground from my game to my Raspberry Pi. Now these two wires are my control, which is making the thing go right and then up, and those are the only two controls on this game. And then you have the prize sensor, and since the Raspberry Pi is not 5-volt tolerant, I actually borrowed 3.3 volts from it and tied into it through the power sensor, since that's the one that's coming up. So when the prize sensor gets 5 volts, it will make that relay close, making the Raspberry Pi go up on that leg with 3.3 volts so it doesn't damage it, and allowing it to see that you won your prize, and so we can send it to you. So now I'm going to hook up the Ethernet cord, and after that I'll get the cameras all ready, and once I hook up the Ethernet cord, I'll show you how it works. Alright, so now I just added this game. When I go to play it, and I push the left button, as you can see, that one relay is lighting up. And then when I push the up button, the other relay is lighting up, and then it will automatically go forward. And then if something falls, it'll hit the prize sensor, closing the third relay, telling me that I won on the computer, telling the database you won, and we ship the prize out to you. So, like I said, all this Raspberry Pi is doing is taking the signals that you send, sending them to ground. We close them by relay just because they're a different voltage, and it's as simple as that. So all I'm doing here is actually showing you that the machine is working. I'm using my phone. I put my hand over the prize sensor, and then I walk over to my computer to show you that I actually won the prize, and that's how it shipped.